All right, let's face it. The world's a little bit in mayhem right now. There's countries invading countries, there's pirates invading ships. There's a lot to talk about in the world of weapons and warfare. Straight Arrow News, it's got your six. Weapons and Warfare, it's a weekly show. It's hosted by Ryan Robertson, and it brings you the news from our nation's frontline defenders and the challenges that they could face. America's military operations are constantly evolving, from boot camp to boots on the ground. Reporter Ryan Robertson provides in-depth coverage of international armed conflicts and the latest technological developments in weaponry worldwide. What I like about Straight Arrow News is that they present the news from both sides of the aisle. They just tell you the news in general, and that is what we've been missing. So for me, it's convenient. I want to find out what's going on in the world of news without a one-sided point of view. I find SAN. So get a front row seat to the most intense and fascinating stories from the world of military operations. Weapons and Warfare has new episodes every Wednesday. Go to san.com/Harloff to listen today and subscribe. Is the stigma of UAPs, UFOs, starting to dwindle? And are more people starting to pay attention to this in Congress, Senate, media? Is that happening? Lester Nare, who was on this show just a few weeks ago, you go to at UAP Caucus, and you can find Lester and all the things that he's doing and trying to get done, and in direct conversations with Senate and Congress. And look at this video here today that Lester tweeted out, and I think it's pretty important and encouraging. Check this out.
We have spent the last 2 days talking to over a dozen offices here in Washington, D.C., both on the House and the Senate side, not only about the UAP Disclosure Act of 2024, which is currently under negotiation in the Senate, but also the Safe Airspace for Americans Act and the general posture that members of Congress have towards the UAP subject. One thing that I can say from every single one of our meetings, especially from those who are focused on national security and foreign policy, is that they take the issue deadly seriously, and they are much more sophisticated about the details than is being signaled publicly. There is a real understanding about the magnitude of the issue, what aspects that Congress needs to focus on, and plans moving forward of how to adjudicate the problem. We were very impressed and gracious for the time the offices gave to us, and there's certainly going to be more movement out of both the House and the Senate as it pertains to the UAP subject.
All right, just to follow that up, we just concluded our UAP Hill Daily with the UAP Caucus in collaboration with Declassify UAP. And as he said in the video, over the last 2 days, we met directly with several legislative and national security staffers in both the House and Senate. Months of planning and organization went into these meetings scheduled during this crucial period as the UAPDA comes up for debate. We were impressed to find that several offices have a sophisticated understanding of the issue. They are well read and committed to moving forward regardless of the UAPD outcomes this election cycle. Notably absent were stigma, ridicule, and nonsense. The tone and tenor of the conversations were remarkably serious. The thoughtful engagement we encountered reaffirms UAP discourse has evolved beyond skepticism to become a matter of national security, scientific inquiry, and public awareness. You saw that video, and by the way, Lester is doing phenomenal work, doing great stuff over there, and I'm going to reach back out to him to get a kind of follow-up on this stuff, because my question is, now, as I always say, and what I think we all do, is that there are people within Congress and the Senate, obviously, that want to take this serious and have the kind of meetings that Lester is having. My question is that he's talking about there's no stigma and people saying nonsense. I mean, clearly the people who think that it's nonsense and think that there's a stigma do exist. And are those the people that are also, gatekeepers and whatnot? The people that he's talking to, are they going to help move the needle? The answer could very well be yes to all this, that as he went in thinking maybe he was meeting with those types of people who were going to look at it like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, yeah, nod, smile, sure, whatever. This is just, there's nothing to see here, arrow answers. But it seems to be like they're taking it way more serious. Now, the question that comes to be with that is this part of the overall plan that has been mapped out from the end of 2023, early 2024 leading into this, and are things actually coming into fruition where this was kind of slow disclosure, and was this the plan all along, where people are actually taking these things more serious? I do think that the things that are telling here are the next couple of months, where, as I mentioned each and every time, and I hope I'm wrong, I say this, that this month, I think, before the end of the month, is the Gillibrand hearing with Arrow. It seems to be a who cares moment of this is the new Arrow person who's going to give you the same old, same old. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe there's something there that's going to turn out to be very lucrative, and then it winds up being something that we're going to be discussing as one of the major milestones. I doubt it, but it's possible. But then November has been guaranteed or at least confirmed that there's going to be a hearing run by a lot of people who were running the hearing last August, or I should say August of 2023, with new people speaking, focused on the USO stuff and focused on other things, and maybe there's some big groundbreaking stuff. If there is, the stuff that Lester is talking about, the people that he's been discussing, if that's further along by more testimony and more information that hadn't been heard before, and pictures, footage, other things that make it kind of inevitable and for the UAPD thing to pass in December, that is going to be more telling for me. If that bill, the Schumer and Rounds bill, in its current form does get passed, and remember, when I had Lester on the show, even he felt that the bill in its current state will not be passed. Now, I wonder, and one of the reasons I want to talk to him again is I wonder if this meeting that he had changed his opinion, if he does think that it's going to go through after the conversations that he's had. But my question again would be, as I asked him when he was on the show about what's the difference this time with Turner? Is he not going to block it? Are there going to be other people who block it? Are there going to be other people in general who try to block this thing this time around? Or is it this time where they're going to go, okay, let's just all figure this out now, let it pass, and let the cards fall on the table, and we'll figure it out. Anyway, this is, I think, encouraging that there's more talk on this. And what I think that the other side of it is, as I said in the beginning in the intro, where the plan of getting more and more awareness to this, and I've always said since I started this channel, this separate UAP news channel, how imperative it was to get more and more mainstream outlets talking about this thing and having people discuss it, because people who tune into their shows and say, wait, what? This is real? That's the stuff that is going to continue to bring more public awareness. And I think Lou Elizondo has been everywhere. And not just on, the big podcasts. He's been on big TV shows. He was just on it was a Daily Show. He was just on, he was on Rogan. And, I know he was on all these. He was on CNN. He was on Fox News. He was on everything. He's on everything. And that's the stuff that we need to see more of. We need to see more of the major outlets, big shows, big clips, all these types. We need to see more people covering this thing. And like I said, this is for forever. This doesn't have to be one of these things of, we believe this person. We're having them on because we believe it. You make your own judgments on it. Just report it. Discuss it. Have the conversation. Mock them, if you will. Mock them, if you will. People will say, hey, why are you mocking them? They're getting coverage. And then if they wind up having egg on their face, they wind up egg on their face. But when I say that too, you're going to mock them, make sure you have somebody on the other side of it. I always say that there should be people like, the biggest example for me is if Rounds and Schumer are out there in December, Senate Majority Leader out there talking about NHI and other things, have 5 different panelists on a news network, take the one person asking the obvious question of, is this something we should be taking serious because the Senate Majority Leader is out there using this kind of language and trying to get this passed, and what does it mean? And having that conversation, have the one person saying, this is absolutely credible, this aims to something, yada, yada, yada. Then have the other person. This person is out of their mind. What is he doing? Why do we have our Senate Majority Leader talking about little green men at this point when they should be focused on the issues at hand? Have that conversation. But what this video by Lester Nare to me shows is that the conversation is getting stronger and stronger. And it's because of people like you watching it. It's because of people watching this video. It's because of people looking for other stuff, constantly trying to get information, asking the questions that we have the right to ask. And as your voice gets stronger, more and more people listen. So I said a while ago that I don't necessarily know how much letters have impact when you're writing letters and emails to, your senators. I think I'm wrong. I think it continues because you hear people consistently saying it's the question I get asked the most. Garcia, Trump was on some show recently saying the same thing too. Obama used to get that stuff all the time. They all do. They all do. It's one of the biggest questions, and it's not just the science fiction nature of it. There's just too much. There's too much pointing in one direction. What is this stuff? Anyway, I think this is encouraging. I ask you guys what you think. If you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, subscribe. Help us get to 35,000. We're trying to get to 35,000 subscribers. If you hit that button, you can help us get there. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Peace out.